In a world ruled by rigid traditions and fierce challenges, one woman's journey began with tragedy but blossomed into a legacy of faith and courage. Jeanne-Françoise de Chantal was not born a saint. She was made one through loss, love, and unwavering trust in God. From the grand halls of nobility to the humble cloisters of devotion, her story unfolds like a flame ignited against the darkest night. Widow at a young age, she found strength where many would falter, in surrender, in service, and in radical compassion. This is the story of a woman who defied the limits set by society, who built a new path for women seeking God, and whose spirit echoes in the quiet halls of monasteries to this day. Join us now as we journey into the life of Saint Jeanne-Françoise de Chantal, a beacon of hope, a mother to the poor Clares of the Visitation, and a woman whose faith changed the course of history. Chapter 1. Early Life and Loss. Jeanne-Françoise de Chantal was born into privilege in 1572 in the noble courts of Burgundy, France. From a young age, she was taught the ways of grace, duty, and honor, expected to marry well and uphold her family's legacy. Yet beneath the polished surface, her heart longed for something deeper. Her early years were filled with the rhythms of court life, lavish balls, endless etiquette, and the sharp eyes of society. But fate had other plans. At the age of 18, she married Baron de Chantal, a man of strong character and steady love. Together, they dreamed of a future bright and secure. That future shattered when tragedy struck. Her husband died suddenly, leaving Jeanne-Françoise a widow with 4 young children. The loss was devastating, a whirlwind of grief that threatened to consume her. But in that darkness, a new light began to grow. Rather than succumbing to despair, Jeanne-Françoise sought strength in faith. She turned to prayer and reflection, discovering a profound call beyond her noble birthright. This was the beginning of a transformation, from a young noblewoman defined by status to a devoted servant of God. Her journey was not easy. The challenges of widowhood, motherhood, and spiritual awakening clashed with the expectations of her world. But Jeanne-Françoise's spirit refused to yield. In pain and perseverance, she found a resolve that would change her life forever. Chapter 2. The Meeting with Saint Francis de Sales. In the midst of her grief and searching, Jeanne-Françoise encountered a man whose wisdom and kindness would change her destiny forever. Francis de Sales, a bishop known for his gentle spirit and fiery faith, became her guide and friend. Their meeting was more than chance. It was a divine appointment. Francis saw in Jeanne-Françoise not only a grieving widow, but a soul ready to be set aflame with purpose. Through his counsel, she began to understand that holiness was not reserved for the mighty or the learned, but was a calling for every heart willing to follow God's love. Under Francis's guidance, Jeanne-Françoise found clarity. He encouraged her to embrace a life of service and prayer, not as a burden, but as a joy that could transform even the darkest sorrows. With his support, she began to envision a new way of living faith, one rooted in humility, charity, and steadfast devotion. Their bond deepened into a spiritual partnership. Together, they dreamed of founding a community for women who longed to dedicate their lives to God without the harsh austerity of other orders. This vision would soon become reality and echo through centuries. But their path was not without trials. Opposition, doubt, and the weight of expectations loomed large. Yet Jeanne-Françoise's heart was steadfast, fueled by the light that Francis's friendship had kindled. This was the moment where grief gave way to hope, and a widow became a founder. Chapter 3. Founding the Order of the Visitation. With a heart ablaze and a vision clear, Jeanne-Françoise took the courageous step to found a new religious order, the Order of the Visitation of Holy Mary. Unlike many existing orders, hers was built on the ideals of gentle devotion, humility, and accessibility, welcoming women who could not endure the harshness of traditional monastic life. In 1610, alongside Saint Francis de Sales, She opened the doors of the first Visitation monastery in Nancy, France. The new community was a refuge, a sanctuary where women could live a life devoted to prayer, service, and love without renouncing compassion or joy. Jeanne-Françoise's leadership was marked by strength and kindness. She guided her sisters with a mother's tenderness and a warrior's resolve, always reminding them that their true power came from surrendering to God's will. Though the path was strewn with challenges, skepticism from church authorities, societal pressures, and personal struggles, the order grew steadily. It became a beacon of hope for women seeking a different way to serve God, a path illuminated by both prayer and charity. Her vision was revolutionary. Holiness did not require harsh asceticism, but a warm heart, humble service, and a joyous spirit. Through the order of the Visitation, Saint Jeanne-Françoise carved a legacy that would inspire generations of women to come. Chapter 4: Trials and Triumphs. The journey of Jeanne-Françoise and the order of the Visitation was far from easy. Challenges arose both from outside and within. Opposition from church authorities wary of new religious movements, financial hardships, and the weight of personal sacrifices demanded by this new way of life. Yet, through every trial, Jeanne-Françoise's faith burned brighter. She faced each obstacle with quiet determination, turning setbacks into lessons and hardship into opportunities for grace. Her leadership inspired her sisters to persevere, reminding them that true devotion often walks hand in hand with suffering. Amid these struggles, miracles and moments of divine intervention strengthened the community's resolve. Stories spread of healing prayers answered, of unexpected providence, and of spiritual peace in the midst of turmoil. Her own health waned over the years, but her spirit never faltered. Even as illness crept closer, Jeanne-Françoise's heart remained fixed on the greater mission, to serve God through love and to build a lasting sanctuary for women called to a life of prayer. Her life was a testament to the power of resilience and grace, a beacon of hope in a world often shadowed by doubt. Chapter 5: Legacy and Sainthood. Jeanne-Françoise de Chantal's earthly journey came to an end in 1641, but her spirit and mission lived on with renewed vigor. The order of the Visitation flourished, spreading across Europe, touching countless lives with its message of gentle devotion and heartfelt service. Her life became a shining example of faith, transformed by adversity, a noblewoman who chose the path of humility and love over comfort and privilege. She showed that true strength is found not in power, but in surrender to the divine will. In 1767, more than a century after her death, Jeanne-Françoise was canonized by Pope Clement XIII, recognized by the Church as a saint whose courage and compassion continue to inspire. Today, the Visitation Order remains a testament to her vision, a living flame of prayer, charity, and sisterhood. Her legacy calls each of us to embrace a faith that is both bold and gentle, courageous and kind. As we remember Saint Jeanne-Françoise de Chantal, we honor a woman who transformed loss into light, grief into grace, and a lifetime of service into a timeless gift for the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and legacy of Saint Jeanne-Françoise de Chantal. Her story of faith, courage, and compassion reminds us all that even in the face of loss and hardship, the human spirit can rise and shine with divine light. We appreciate you following our channel and hope this tale has inspired you to embrace your own path with grace and strength. Stay with us for more stories of saints whose lives continue to illuminate the world. May her example guide and bless you always.